Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for being here today. It's early, so I really appreciate the fact that you guys show up here. We're going to have an amazing day today. Yesterday we had an awesome day. First of all, my name is Ivan Hernandez, so you have an idea who is this guy talking in front of you. I'm originally from Mexico. That's why I have this funny accent, I'm sorry. But I'm really looking forward to have a fantastic day with you. We have an awesome day today at this ecosystem stage. But also we have amazing speakers all over the event. So I invite you to check out also the innovation stage, the money stage, the executive stage. There's a lot of really fantastic speakers here from you, coming from all over the world. So I guess it's enough of blah from my side. I want to invite our first speaker of today. We have Mr. Ziad Traboulsi. He's an engineering lead, growth and partnerships at Facebook. The floor is yours, Ziad. Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys, and see you soon.
Thanks a lot, Ivan, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here with you guys. I'm very humbled to be here, partly because Lebanon is my country, obviously, but it's also a great event. Great to be speaking to you guys today. It's also a very important time for Facebook and for the internet as a whole. And today I'm going to be talking about what Facebook is doing for connectivity deployments in the world. Cool, so my name is Ziad Traboulsi. I'm an engineering lead at Facebook. I work on our internet.org project. I've been at the company for a bit more than 6 years. And today, as I said, we're going to be talking about connectivity deployments. Sorry, the clicker is not working because there's too much interference, so I'm just going to look at him and he's going to change the slides every time. Cool, so let's just start with talking about our mission at Facebook. You guys are probably familiar with it a bit, but at Facebook, we're really about helping to connect people, about creating a global society, giving everyone a voice, and creating a global community of people that can connect. But today, the reality is very different. There's 4 billion people that are completely unconnected, and 3 billion people that are connected, and this includes people like us. So effectively, we can't really say that internet is prevalent when there's more than 2/3 of the population that are not yet connected. And the reason why we care about these things, the reason why we want to work on connectivity, is because we cannot achieve our objective until everyone has access to the internet and is able to benefit from the internet like all of us do. So Facebook, as you know, Facebook is a place where you can connect, where you can talk with your friends, where you can share, where you can see news, where you just go every day to look at what's happening in the world. It's also a place where you can see what's happening in everyone else's life. It's also a place where you can get a summary of your own life. After 10 years of most of us being on Facebook now, you look back at your university days, your work days, and it just provides for a nice experience. Facebook is a place where people connect and a place where people can share. And Facebook is popular everywhere, or almost everywhere. So these are just a few numbers. One of them is outdated since our Q3 earning reports were just a few days ago, and I had to send my slides in. But Facebook has more than 1 billion users using Messenger every month, more than 1 billion users using WhatsApp every month, more than 500 million people using Instagram every month, and more than 1.8 billion people using Facebook, the main site or the app, on Android and iOS and a bunch of other interfaces every month. Instagram specifically has more than 3.5 billion pictures being liked every day, more than 100 million photos and videos being shared on a daily basis. So when we look at the scale of Facebook, the scale of the current operations and the offering of our products, it's safe to say that we operate at quite a big scale. So this is the spectrum of communication. So when you want to share and when you want to connect with people, this is how you do it. You can do it with a one-to-one basis. You just want to chat with your friend or the member of your family. Or you can have a small group discussion, for example, organizing an outing or going for dinner. And then there's a bigger group of friends. You just want to announce something to your global group of friends. For example, getting married, getting engaged, a fun event like that. And then you can connect with the community. For example, the BDL Accelerate community. And lastly, you can announce something for the world. So effectively, we have a family of apps that caters for every single of these things. WhatsApp can be best seen as being something where you connect one-to-one. Messenger is for small groups. Facebook itself is to post for your friends. The groups is connecting a community, and Instagram is sharing with the world. So we have a playbook for these things. The way we work at Facebook is very organized on launching new products and launching new technologies. It all starts with a nice technological breakthrough. So we start with making products that people love and facilitate people to be able to connect. And then once we build the technology, once we build the backbone of the technology, we want to make it into a product, something that we're going to scale, something that's going to be used by hundreds of millions of people. And when this is done, we want to build an ecosystem around it. We want to gather businesses, partners, developers to build something on top of it. So effectively, this is what the 10-year roadmap of Facebook looks like now. It's split into 3 horizons. That's how we look at it. On the left, you can see the Facebook ecosystem. Facebook is, as we said, 1.8 billion people, but Facebook is still very much growing. And this year is actually a great growth year for us. We want to continue investing on this ecosystem. We want to keep on building the Facebook service and make it more prevalent everywhere. And then we have the 5-year horizon. These are the products that all of you guys are familiar with that have a few hundreds of millions of users that we still want to focus on and make as bigger products. And then we have our big bets, the technologies that we're still focusing on now. This includes connectivity works, connectivity deployments around the world. It includes artificial intelligence, and it includes VR and AR, or virtual reality and augmented reality. It's funny for me to see that a bunch of the stands that you guys have seen over today are featuring some of our Oculus and Oculus Rift products with AR and VR. So now we're going just to talk about this end bit, and I'm going to focus on the connectivity bit, which is the one that I work on. So the state of connectivity in the world today is quite challenging. As I said, we have more than 4 billion people that are not connected to the internet today. And this is something that we truly deeply care about. So this is the world as seen from space. This is how all of us conceptualize Earth, right? But effectively, there are 2 worlds that are cohabiting on Earth. You have the connected world, and you have the unconnected world. And we are all very privileged to be part of the connected world. Although we like to make fun of the internet in Lebanon, but we actually do have internet, and we do have Wi-Fi access everywhere. Next slide, please. This is how the connected world looks like. Connected world is 4G and 3G connections. We don't consider anything else to be fully connected because you need to have 4G and 3G to be able to experience the internet to the fullest. So if you want to stream videos or utilize voice over IP, you need to be able to have 4G or 3G access. This is the unconnected world and the underconnected world. As you can see, this is a much more prevalent world, and most of Asia, Africa, and Latin America are unconnected or underconnected. So just to illustrate, in red, this is the 2G connections, and 2G, as you guys know, is nowhere near enough to experience the web like we want to experience it. And in purple, what you can see is the unconnected, no connections whatsoever. There's a lot of places on Earth where you are where there's no connectivity whatsoever. This is just to focus on the Middle East and Europe and North Africa for you guys to see that we have it pretty okay. We have 3G in most places. We don't have a lot of 4G, but that's okay. But this is not how most of the world is currently operating, and this is not the status of the world as it is today. So just to give a few numbers, about why this is important. There's more than, as we said, more than 4.2 billion people that are not connected, but 3.4 billion people come only from 20 countries. So focusing and solving the problem in these 20 countries will make us, come ahead so far. And 920 million of these are completely illiterate. So of course it's more difficult to connect someone and to get them to use the internet when they just don't have connectivity at all. And more than 1 billion people are completely unconnected. And here I just want to focus on one point. All of us were brought on the internet at some point. You guys probably remember the experience that you had on the internet. I remember it distinctively. When I was 5 years old, I got Sodetel at home. It was working sometimes, but I had a computer when I was very, very young, and I got to experience it. And all of us here were brought along to the internet in some places. Someone signed you up to Facebook. Someone showed you how to do a Google search. But the stuff that brought us, all of us online are not going to bring the next 4 billion people are online. And effectively, the barriers that stand in connectivity's way today are much higher than the barriers that stood in the way before. So, actually, sorry, previous slide. Thank you. So, effectively, the reason why we do this, why is this important? A lot of people ask me, like, why do you personally care about this? And why is it that you do what you do? So there's 160 million people that have the potential of being lifted out of extreme poverty by virtue of us doing this. Hundreds of millions of people can access healthcare, education, and be given equal opportunity by accessing the internet. And also, yeah, that's good. Yes. So, but beyond the stats are just numbers. These are the faces of the unconnected. All of us at Facebook spend a lot of time traveling all over Africa, Latin America, Asia, and unconnected places. We meet these people, we talk to them, we hear these stories. A lot of people don't have access to basic healthcare or being able to search for what they want or communicate with people in the city because they don't have internet. So the faces of the unconnected are really important here. This is one of the biggest challenges of our generation. We have the ability to solve this, and we're working towards solving this, but we're doing it for all of these people. Whether you're a mother in India, whether you're a refugee in Lebanon, or whether you're a tech person in San Francisco, we believe that by accessing connectivity, this can really further yourself and make it better for you and for the world. As we said before, if you're not within access of a cellular network or within Wi-Fi, infrastructure is your problem. If you don't have the means to afford the internet, affordability is your problem. And relevance is the one that I personally care about the most, because a lot of people do not know what the internet is and do not know what they could do with the internet. And this is some of the things that we need to solve for. I'm going to start by talking about infrastructure, and I'm going to be showing some of the really cool technologies that we did to further connectivity and solve for infrastructure. This is our fourfold approach to how we're solving the infrastructure problem. You can see the satellites. We had the launch of a satellite that was planned in August. There was an accident and the satellite blew up, but we're still committed on this technology. The way it's going to work basically is that satellite is going to be communicating with our unmanned aerial vehicles or drones that themselves are going to fly and beam down internet in areas that are not connected to the internet today. So we're making 4 main investments on technology and infrastructure. The first one is satellites, changing satellite technology, making it useful for people that are unconnected. Second thing is drones or unmanned aerial vehicles. The third thing is laser beams. We're investing a lot in laser technology to make it as such as you can transfer a lot of data very efficiently at very high distance. And the fourth one is terrestrial technologies. We're making improvements to base stations. I'm going to talk briefly about the coolest thing here, which is the drone. Our drone is called Akina. Akina stands for eagle in Latin. And this is a rendering of Akina. It has a carbon fiber monocoque that allows it to be very light. So Akila is very wide, but it weighs less than 1/3 of a car. So just a few hundreds of kilos, which is impressive. It has very optimized aerodynamics, which makes it be able to fly with very, very low power. And it runs on solar cells on the top surface. So 3 things: solar powered, the altitude is higher than commercial airplanes, and it's supposed to fly for more than 3 months at a time. 3 months, it's quite insane. So as I said, it has the wide span of a Boeing 737, but it weighs less than 1/3 of a car, which is insane. This is Akila in its hangar in Bridgewater outside of London. It's pretty impressive to see it fly, because it's just sort of glides because it's so light and it's very slow. It's a really beautiful piece of technology. The second thing I want to talk about is our laser beam technology. Imagine this. A lot of you guys used to play with lasers when you were kids, and actually this has a laser that you can't see or can barely see. The challenge that we have now is to be able to beam laser across 18 kilometers that needs to hit the spot of the size of a dime. So it needs to travel for 18 kilometers and it cannot move 1 bit. This is how it looks like in real life. This is just a rendering of what we did, and this is the technology we did. What we did basically is to solve for this problem by getting laser to be attracted to heat. And with that, we're able to have Akila, which is the plane, be able to beam down internet on Earth with laser beams. And even with the movement ups and down of Akila, it needs to stay on target and it will be compelled to the light. The second thing I want to talk about is relevance. Today there's a lot of people that are just not aware of what the internet is. In South Africa, more than 50% of people do not know what the internet is. In India, this number is closer to 70%, which is quite crazy. If you think of how much you use the internet on a daily basis, and beyond just connecting and sharing, like when you're worried about something, you go and look for it. When you want to connect with your friends, you put up your phone and you send a message. A lot of people that I talk to in India spend 10% of their monthly income just to be able to talk with their relatives in cities once a week. And the last thing I want to talk about is affordability, which is the problem that we're solving the most concretely with the most tangible impact today. So the percentage of people that can afford the internet is quite limited. There's basically 34% that can afford 500 megabytes. Sorry, yes, 34% can afford 500 megabytes, 50% that can afford 250 megabytes, and 80% that can afford 100 megabytes a month. So already, this is quite good. The solutions are what we're doing for this problem. We're working on an initiative called Free Basic Services. Free Basic Services is live in a lot of countries today, and it's an open platform where people are able to access news, health, communication, jobs, education, and employment information. I've met countless of people all over the world, that, and especially in Indonesia, that have a lot of that have gained a job through being on the internet or being on free basics, or that have had like a small health problem that they were able to nail down and solve by virtue of being able to look for it. These are just some of the services that are available for free with everyone. And the way we do this basically is partnering with telecom operators, and they offer free basics for free. If you have a SIM card, you don't need to buy data and it doesn't consume any gigabytes, you just have access to the internet. So it's an open platform, as we say. We don't want this to be, we don't want the internet to be walled, a walled garden. So you can explore the entire internet as long as the website operates efficiently and it can meet some technical specifications. So the progress we've done so far, there's more than 25 million people, and this stat is closer to 40 million after we announced our results a few days ago. 40 million people were connected to the internet thanks to the efforts that we're doing on relevance, affordability, and infrastructure. There's thousands of services that are available for free in more than 50 countries with 60 operators. In Africa, we had more than 26 countries that are covered with free basics. And in the Middle East, Jordan and Iraq are enjoying the internet for free as well. And finally, like a lot of people ask, why do we do this? Why is this important? As I said before, this is one of the biggest challenges of our generation. We cannot advance as humans if we don't get everyone to benefit from the internet. And the internet, beyond technology and beyond the technological progress itself, it's what technology enables that is the true impact and that is the true thing that is carrying us forward. Technology in itself is not the end, it's just a means toward real progress. So by being able to get everyone to benefit from this technology across the world, this is how we're going to progress. One last point here, on a fun fact about what I talked before. The reason why we're able to do Akina, the plane that flies on solar power and with very low consumption of battery, is thanks to smartphone technology. Smartphones enable us to use very powerful devices at very efficient CPUs and with barely any battery consumption. So it's thanks to the consumer advances that are being made, and all of us are contributing by paying for an iPhone every year. And this is what helps with bridging the gap of connectivity. So in a nutshell, if you guys want to remember three things from this talk: infrastructure, affordability, and relevance. And us as a generation, we have a great way to impact the world and a great opportunity to make a tremendous impact on people's lives, and not only on people's communication, but on more essential stuff like people's survival, increasing economic advancement, increasing the average age that people live. So what we're doing is basically giving power to the powerless and giving a voice to the voiceless. Thanks a lot. We have just a couple of minutes if anyone has any question.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. We have a little bit of minutes, so our friends here, they're gonna come with the microphone. So, microphone, please.
You can shout or repeat your question.
with the mic. Can you?
I'll come to you after this. Do you have a question?
Question. First of all, my name is Hala, and I want to ask you, can you please tell us, like, briefly, how did you manage or end up in Facebook? And you're an AB graduate, how?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
So I did all of my studies in Lebanon. I'm a graduate of AUB. Then I did my master's in London.
What major exactly?
So interestingly, if you're interested in my life story, I studied business and I studied psychology, but I work in engineering, which is very random because I was coding when I was very young, and I've always been interested in engineering and technology. The way I got into Facebook is perseverance, to be honest. I just pushed very hard. I applied in 2010 when Facebook was much smaller. My mom's here, my parents thought I was crazy to apply for Facebook and not go to a big bank or like a safer job. But I just, I insisted out with them just to give me a chance, give me an interview. I flew into Dublin, which was our global headquarters outside of the US. And yeah, that's how the process ended.
Lucky
It
you,
was
can
just,
I change my life with you?
I'm not sure you want to. So you had a question up there.
Hello, I want to.
Ziad.
Hello, I want to ask, how does Akina deal with storms and rainy regions? For example, the equatorial line. There's a lot of rainy regional countries.
That's a great question, especially the equatorial line is actually right where the area we're interested. And beyond that, we have a big problem with sandstorms as well. So these are just some of the problems we're solving for, but just to note that Akina flies very, very high, so it's above all of the weather stuff that are happening. Akina flies at 60,000 feet, which is way above anything that's happening like that. It's actually very calm up there.
Okay, thank you.
Fascinating stuff. I think we have time for one more question.
One more question.
Yes.
Make
Hello.
it count. Yes.
Hi, my name is Maher. Thanks for the presentation. I just have a few questions. First is with you mentioned infrastructure, relevance, and affordability. We all know that 5G is coming up soon in 2020, and it can deal most of these problems.
Yes.
And we all know that data and broadband is becoming cheaper nowadays. So why go and invest in this Akina versus all other technologies?
Great question. So the cost of fiber today is still very, very high. And there's a lot of places that just cannot be connected with fiber for a bunch of reasons. If you think of very metro areas in India, for example, the cost of like unearthing everything and putting fiber under the ground is way higher than the actual return on investment that companies are going to get. So you're right though, if we don't get the cost of this lower than fiber, then this would have basically not served the purpose that it's aiming to serve. So we're aiming to do it at a cheaper rate than 5G, than fiber, than any of the existing technologies. 5G specifically is very, very expensive actually. And especially for it to cover something like Lebanon is easy enough, it's a small land, but for it to cover a lot of rural areas, it's much more difficult.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot,
Fascinating
guys.
stuff. Thank you so much, Ziad. Ziad Traboulsi, come on, give it up. Big round of applause. Thank you very much. And